Good day, nerds, and welcome to episode 103 of the Nerd Cantina Show. I'm your host, Ken, joined by my co-host, Steve, and we're going to cover this week's nerd news. We're going to begin in entertainment with the major blockbuster finally hitting the theaters, that is Tenet. Then we'll move into some production halts that are taking place due to COVID-19 and some upcoming shows getting created for Netflix. Then we'll move over into tech news and discuss the recent court filing or court ruling regarding massive phone data collection, some Tesla news, jetpacks, maybe a little bit of nuclear energy. There's a lot to get through. Let's go start.
Calling back all nerds. Nerds!
All right, and welcome to episode 103. And this is another week in the books here, another move forward, and the theaters are still open, and we cannot get by. I know you wrote your written review, but some people don't read. So
facts. Hashtag facts.
I think it's worth the time to make sure we address these the major blockbuster hit the theaters. Tenet. Is it going to save theaters? Is it worth going and seeing?
It should. I don't know if the review hype and the constant people telling everyone how great this movie is going to override people's viral fears, but it was simply amazing. Like the cinematography, the story, the interesting take on time travel. I'm a huge time travel fan. I'll watch anything in time travel just because I love picking it apart. I love the plot holes. If they do it right, it's mind blowing. The way they can do it. You've had all kinds of concoctions of the way the formula works. The Back to the Future rules, the shitty fucking Endgame rules. There's all kinds of theories to time travel and tons of movies play on those theories. This was a very new and interesting take on those theories. And the acting was phenomenal. It was an amazing movie. I'll probably go see it at least 2 more times before it's done with theaters. And especially as I don't have to sit next to some stanky motherfucker because they block out all the chairs. I can't say enough good things about this movie. Like if you're just yearning to have a theater experience again, this is the one, man. Like this is the one.
Yeah, I mean, critically, it hasn't. Obviously, there's been some negative reviews about it or whatever else. I think the general consensus I've seen from people who've gone out to see it is that it's not Inception. It's not as good as Inception.
Better.
Do you agree? Oh, you think better than
Inception?
Okay. Most I've seen.
So Inception was complicated, but not so complicated that the average person couldn't understand it. This one, maybe you might need a second or third viewing to really grasp it. Again, I love time travel. I love these plot stories. So I was prepared to wrap my brain around this. If you don't really think that much when you go to movies, this might go over your head. Like, I'm not going to say that it couldn't possibly happen, but it's a little more complicated. But I love the way they do it. I don't really think it's a spoiler per se, but the whole concept basically is reality is a record spinning around you. So you are stationary in time, and reality is you're the needle, and reality is the record. They found a machine to spin the record backwards.
Yeah, and I think I'm excited to see it. Theaters have not opened entirely where I am here in Southern California, so not even an option yet. But
yeah, you need to go see it so we could do another Patreon exclusive kind of thing. This is one that's worth a in-depth discussion for our Patreon page, like we did with Joker and Skywalker. Like this is.
Let's see how long until it hits premium video on demand.
You fuckhead. You fucking motherfucker.
Hey, this is not necessarily by choice. This is the realities of the situation here.
I want to say San Diego opened up some. I want to say I seen a Reddit people asking what's the best IMAX in San Diego.
Why are you doing San Diego Reddit?
I just get Reddit alerts, bro. I'm on the AMC A-list subreddit, so I get AMC subreddit posts alerted to my phone.
Yeah, it's definitely a movie that I want to see, and it's, I think, going to be one that is
Pattinson was
worth
great
seeing.
in it. Washington as the lead was phenomenal. Like he's been in a few movies I really enjoyed him in, and I like this movie solidifies him as one of the next big rising stars of Hollywood. Like he was absolutely amazing in it. Like
Does Pattinson make you think like, okay, maybe he could Bruce Wayne? Does it like give you better hope? Because in the end, everybody still thinks of him as Twilight, and even though he's done other things, they've all been lower.
I won't say that it gives him any more credentials to play Batman, but I will say it really did help me to not see him as a sparkly child.
Yeah.
So he's been in a few other movies, and they didn't really shake off the Twilight kind of like shadow.
Most people didn't see those movies, right? Like nobody's seen The Lighthouse.
And that's what I mean.
Like
in those, they weren't big releases, and they didn't really do much to shake that off. This one does for me. Like I won't look at him as a sparkly vampire pretty much ever again. He can go do whatever he wants, and I'll give him the credibility to go with it.
Yeah, and that's I think hopefully a good thing for his career, and maybe we could just stop talking about sparkly Batman. But yeah, no, I definitely want to see the movie. I think in the end, I don't think it's. I want to see what the actual box office numbers are. We're recording this too far in advance for our Wednesday release, so we don't have those numbers.
Yeah, holiday weekend.
Episode.
We're recording this a little early, so if a big story breaks in the next 5 days, don't at me, bro.
But I really want to see what these box office numbers are. Well, how well does it do? I don't. New Mutants, we said last week, did
Hollywood's really keeping these box
million?
office numbers under wraps. Like it was a thing before where they would announce them, and all the news and media would share these numbers, and like nobody's talking about opening day weekends and stuff right now. Everyone's like, we made some money.
Yeah,
we made a couple dollars.
We've only had 2 opening weekends so far, so we'll see. And I don't think in the end this is,
I'm calling 22 million.
Oh, I think they're gonna get more than that.
I don't know, considering that the total box office was 16 million last week. I'm putting the under over at 22. You think over?
I'm going over.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope over. Like I said, I think everyone should see this goddamn movie. Everybody. Like it is phenomenal. It doesn't, like I said in the review, doesn't have a bunch of vulgarity, doesn't have a bunch of gore to it. If you think your kid can grasp the concept, everybody could see this movie. It's not one of those things that it's an adult concept, but it's not like an adult movie. So you got a teenage son that is good at math and is into physics. Like, bring that little fucker. Like he'll love that shit.
Well, hopefully more people get a chance to go see it in theaters, because that's how Christopher Nolan envisioned it. It's definitely a movie to be seen in the theaters.
Oh, it should. Yeah,
from all the reviews.
Fuck your 65-inch 4K.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. Like you have to see this in the theater. IMAX or Dolby or nothing, man.
Yeah, and that's essentially what I've seen from consistently, regardless whether people think that, most people think it's a pretty good movie. Some critics say it was a bad movie, but critics suck. I don't know who ever gets swayed by a critic's opinion to go see a movie. I'm talking about like legitimate, Roger Ebert type critics. But everybody's saying visually, no, it's phenomenally done as far as how Christopher Nolan filmed this movie.
Yeah, so, I don't know what the fuck they watched. If you didn't think it was a good movie, like, you're remedial. Sorry. Sorry, I said it. Be offended. Like, it's okay. You were the kid that ate paste in school. It's all good. But yes, so I didn't get a chance to watch The Boys yet. That was another big release on Friday.
Which was yesterday. So I haven't had a chance to watch any of the 3 episodes that released either.
By the time this airs, I'll probably have started it. But at the time of the recording, haven't gotten a chance to start The Boys yet. I got to wait for the significant other to get back so I can start that, or she will be mad.
I only do one show at a time. And I am thoroughly enjoying Cobra Kai right now.
The Those are good though because it's half hour. Like so, you
Yeah.
just pound out them like 28-minute episodes and go about your day. Like and you'll be caught up on those real fast.
I think we're pretty much done with season 1, so we're moving on.
What I did start because I figured that she wouldn't want to get into it, and boy was I right. Was that Raised by Wolves on HBO? Like oh wow, I'm drawing a blank on the director's name again. No, Ridley Scott. So it's the next incarnation of Ridley Scott's brain. Yeah, this just the first episode. I haven't even pounded out the other 2 that are available to watch right now. But just in the first episode, this is like sci-fi. Like no, like there isn't. It's not just like, hey, it's a future, it's outer space, but we got this dramatic storyline and blah blah blah. Like they go balls deep on sci-fi first episode, man. Like it is.
Well, yeah, it's like human civilization is like pretty much eradicated, right? And the ones that are coming about are being raised by AI.
Yeah, okay, but I can make an argument that there's like, you ever see that show The 100? They do that same kind of premise on that show The 100 that's on WB, and it's like a YA like show that everybody watches because they take that premise, but it's all about the teen drama and the character and social aspect of it. Like, man, no, it is straight just like the first episode felt like I was already mid-3rd season. Like, just that's how immersed in the sci-fi aspect of it you are. So, like, if you're like, I can watch some sci-fi, but I'm more into the drama and the characters and this and that. Like, this ain't for you. This ain't for you. But if you are just if you're a Trekkie, if you're if you love Ridley Scott, it's like the way his brain works, because this is the Ridleyest movie he's ever or TV show that he's ever done. Like this thing was intense, man, and it was just straight up like, man, I can't even. I'm grasping at straws to find an even nerdier description than I can. Like, I want to see what NGT is tweeting about this show. That's how it's like sci-fi this motherfucker is.
Well, I mean, I don't have HBO Max, so maybe somewhere down the road.
I don't even know why I talked to you, man.
Maybe somewhere down the road.
I talked to you.
I will. I'll let the season finish, and kind of like do a Game of Thrones thing. Let the season finish, and then watch it as a season. But yeah, no, it looks incredibly like visually appealing.
Visually, the production level is Prometheus. Like that's how the production level is on par with Prometheus. So if you liked Prometheus, this is a show for you.
Yeah, that's why I think the concept is incredibly interesting, and then the visuals, the production of it. I do want to watch it. I do eventually want. I'm going to let the season finish out.
There's a small part of me that hopes that at the end of the season it somehow ties into the Alien franchise. I'm not going to lie. I just hope he's building this crazy world, and then on his deathbed he just makes one movie that ties them all together and blows the whole world's fucking brain just explodes.
All right. Well, we'll have to see how many nerds in the community are watching this show, and see if it can sway me into paying for HBO Max for a short period of time.
I know I'm gonna have to do a write up on it. Just to I did that Defending Jacob review, and it actually got 3 or 4 people to watch that show. So I might have to do my public service and put words back to back and try to get people to watch this show.
Yeah. Well, I guess we move into some other just over entertainment talk. But when we talk about the Batman production, and we talk about the Batman, Robert Pattinson, and now we just get some news this last couple days that production is halted on the Batman due to COVID-19.
I don't know why we care about this. Why do we care about this?
I don't know why it's any different than it's like, okay, well, we shut down production all the time because somebody gets hurt, somebody gets sick, somebody whatever else. It's like, all right, I get it. He's got COVID.
Well, and then The Rock came out today and said his whole family had COVID, and everyone hashtag prayers for Rock. So to my understanding, when this virus even first came out, we assumed everybody was going to get it at some point. We just didn't want everybody to get it at once.
Yeah.
Right? Like, wasn't that kind of like the deal is let's try to mitigate the spread, but as long as there's no vaccine and we still have to live a somewhat sentient human life, like everybody's going to fucking get it, man. So when I actually, when somebody famous actually gets it, it's fucking, why is that news? Why is that news? Like, I hope he's all right. I hope it's the mild cases that 90% of the goddamn human race is getting. Like, but no, like, I don't care that he's got the sniffles. I don't.
Yeah. And we'll see if, The Rock is obviously a healthy man. Robert Pattinson, obviously a healthy man. Like, in the end,
Corona takes out The Rock. I might reevaluate my stance on coronavirus.
That's what I was saying. Like, all of a sudden, if you're getting an image of The Rock in the ICU, it's like, all right, fuck.
Loses like 130 pounds, and
immediately everybody's gonna be like, okay, guys, the hoax thing. We were wrong this whole time.
Rona just killed The Rock, y'all.
Yeah, the people's elbow could not defeat the corona. It's like, at that point in time, I think that would change people's perspective. But if it's
and that would be the defense of everybody moving forward. It's not that like, well, young people get it too, or there's lasting effects. Anybody not wearing a mask in public is just gonna be fucking Rona killed The Rock. Put your fucking mask on.
Do you think you're tougher than The Rock?
that would be the standard from here on out.
Yeah,
so you think you The Rock now, huh?
Oh, okay.
You just ain't gonna wear no mask. You think you The Rock? Okay.
That's fine. That's fine. You'll be smelling what The Rock is cooking soon. Get your ass.
Oh God.
Oh, well,
2020 is the worst.
It's spectacular.
But yeah, all in all, folks, they're fine. It'll be okay.
Yeah. But in other entertainment news and production news, we're getting more information. We knew long ago that David Benioff and Dan Weiss, the creators or the showrunners for Game of Thrones, we knew that they signed that gigantic contract with Netflix to make something, and nobody really knew exactly what they were going to make. They were just going to do things for Netflix. Now we're getting greater details as far as what the series is that they're making. It's going to be this 3-body problem books that they're creating into a series. I don't know if they're going to call it the 3-body problem or whatever else, but there's a book trilogy called the 3-body problem that they are now taking on to create. And I've never heard of this. I don't know what the 3-body problem books are. It does make me want to kind of read them in the sense that they are sci-fi books, so it's not in the fantasy genre like Game of Thrones. It is a sci-fi realm, and I like sci-fi books. I like audiobooks. I might see if I can pick these up and get through to them.
Yeah, I'm 50-50 on if people actually research these books that they're turning into shows, or if they're just like throwing darts at a bookshelf and picking them up. Like, it is. There's so much content out there. It's like I always wonder, like, if you're a showrunner for Game of Thrones, like, when do you have time to read this series, motherfucker? Like, when do you have time to read this?
In the final season, they stopped.
For sure. We have the answer, folks. We have the answer. Yeah. Just shoot it, run it, cut. Yeah, cut. I gotta get to the next page.
If I'm Benioff and Weiss, the only thing I'm going into this is I want a complete trilogy, and I want an author who's dead.
Yeah,
like that's if I'm them, that's what I'm going into this with. Is like, I'll do anything, sci-fi, fantasy, whatever. Like, you just give me source material that is complete. And the author is not tweeting, not talking, and nobody's looking for the next thing. Like, that's all I want. I want to know
the end now. Give me the end now.
Yeah. I don't know if any of that's actually true, if this author's dead or not, but that's what I would be looking for. But this trilogy did complete back in, I think, like 2008, maybe even sooner than that. And it's apparently, it's like won the Hugo Award for Best Novel. It's, I guess, very popular in Asia, in China. So I don't know what the story is, but supposedly it's going to be an interesting concept. Like I said, I think I'm going to pick up the audiobook. I got some Audible credits floating around. Maybe I'll dive into some new sci-fi and actually know what's going on in this.
I got one Audible credit left, and I'm just really don't know which one I want to use it on. I spent the last one on Ben Heavens. It was really good.
Yeah, Megan, and we also released the Devastation class interview. If anybody's listening,
that interview was good. I made me really want to read that one too.
I actually so that book comes out here by the time this podcast released. That book will have already been out, and I think I'm going to spend an Audible credit on that one. There, I like that interview, and I like that team of people coming out of film and then just kind of converting a concept to a novel. Even though they'd never had experience in writing books, but it sounds like a great book. Megan enjoyed it, and that's normally good enough for me.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so we'll see. There still is really no information on when this show's ever going to hit Netflix, but it does seem like they're contributing pretty well into like production value towards it. I think it's going to be either a massive flop, right, in the sense that.
Well, that's the one thing we know about Netflix is if you want this show to wrap up in all of its entirety, you better watch it because Netflix can't say shit whether you love it or not.
Yeah, it does not matter.
That's the one thing I do know. Netflix don't give no fucks. They will leave that story arc dangling for the rest of your life.
And still keep it like on the main front screen when you show up to your app.
Yeah.
But no, I mean they pay the Game of Thrones showrunners there, Benioff and Weiss, it was like $200 million. I don't remember what the exact settlement or the deal was, but they paid them a ton of money to just be showrunners for future Netflix shows. At this point in time, like if you're going to pay them that much money up front, then you let them finish whatever storyline they have.
I just had a really fucked up idea. Like sometimes I wish I was a billionaire just to just let these ideas run. But like, yeah, if I had billions, I would create a YouTube channel and just like South Park animation finish off all these shows they cancel. Like just as like a public service to the millions of fans that are dying to know how the OA ended, to know how like all these, even if it wasn't a Netflix production, Netflix has a bunch of shit canceled shows on their roster, like just start finishing off final seasons, pay writers and just do it shitty stick figure animation just to give people the last season and some closure. Bezos, where you at, man? The fuck?
I mean, I don't think Bezos wants any more bad publicity at this point. But I don't know. I think the show's gonna be good. But we can, I guess, move over to some gaming news here. And we talk about the Fortnite Apple ban or whatever else, and the negative effects that it was having on Fortnite. Well, a ban that I think some people in the gaming world or tech world saw coming as a potential. But it hit, and it hit PUBG hard. So Tencent, the company that owns PUBG, PUBG was banned now in India, which India, I guess...
Man, they be playing phone games, I guess. Like after reading this article, I didn't realize they'd be like...
20, it was like 24% of all players for PUBG, PUBG Mobile were coming out of India. And India is banning every app at this point in time. They're just trying to get a handle on any foreign controlled app that's going into their country. They've banned just about every app that comes out of China.
Well, we go bat to bat with China, and we're not even as close proximity as India is.
Yeah, the relationship between India and China is and
you got two countries with 1 billion people looking at each other like, hey, motherfucker.
Yeah. So PUBG gets banned, and it immediately drops the stock price of Tencent, and Tencent is worried about this. So in the end, I don't know. Again, we keep talking about this. This is now the third week in a row that we're talking about mobile, first person, third person shooter game. Well,
the list of apps that India banned was staggering. It was there were so many. a lot of them all Chinese made, and I think that's the theme, is that they just are trying to lock down their network from Chinese infiltration and influence, which, I mean, I don't blame them. Like I said, there's 1 billion people in India, there's 1 billion people in China. They both got nukes. They're both making landmass grabs. Like, I wonder what's the percentage of the global workforce that are in those two countries.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah,
that alone is staggering. So you get China and India to go into a war. You can say goodbye to your clothes, to your customer service, to your computer chips. Like, everything like comes out of those two fucking countries.
Yeah, I will say they banned some apps that, upon like looking at it, I was thinking maybe I should be concerned about some of these in the sense of things that I guess I never intuitively thought about, and I probably should. I should be smarter than this, but sometimes it's just easier to download an app. But they ban things like Cam Scanner or whatever else, which is a pretty popular app in the app stores here in the United States. In these like document scanning apps that just about everybody has on their phone. It's so much easier than to scan things on your phone.
Sensitive legal material.
It's like, think about what everybody's scanning with these apps, and yeah, that's the truth. It's like, you know what? I've never thought about whose company or who owns that company that I'm trusting my social security card that I'm scanning in, and all these other things that people are just regularly scanning. It's like, oh yeah. No, I've never looked at it. I've never considered that. Now I don't even know what scanning.
It would be nice if there was actually somebody in our government that was pitching a cabinet position that would be in charge of all this. I just don't know whoever talks about this, or like, I hope you picked up on my sarcasm.
Yeah, yang. Got it. Yang. I think it's. I was just talking to somebody last night about that. Like, I think that is probably a position that should exist in 2020. Is a cabinet position on technology and innovation and technology regulation. Like, because we all know politicians don't know what the hell they're talking about.
I wonder how long it took from the dawn of like radio and television for the FCC to get formed.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like, how long did it take for a government entity to be erected after the telephone and like everything that the FCC oversees? How long was it for this technology to exist? I guess we could just Google the establishment of the FCC and make a rough estimate guess. But like, yeah, like to me, it's just we're dragging ass on like, the day AOL was sending discs out to everybody's fucking mailboxes. Like, we should have been on this. Like, how it's still not a thing, I don't know.
Well, we gotta, I think, get moving here through some of these topics. But the last in, I guess we'll call it, entertainment. This is kind of tech weirdness, but when we look at video games, Doom Eternal, the creators of Doom Eternal have claimed that they can run that game at 1,000 frames per second on a PC, which is, I don't know why you need that. Like, I mean, is that detectable by the human eye? I have no idea.
It can't be.
In the end, they claim that their engine that they designed the game on can run 1,000 FPS. So then, some people were testing it and they can get it up to like 400 FPS just through like good gaming computers. And then they started doing some like significant like overclocking on game computers, and they got it even higher. And then in the end, you can run it.
Nitrogen
in the end, they did prove that you can run it at 1,000 FPS. You just need to be running liquid nitrogen across all of your overclocking processors and GPUs and everything else in order so that thing doesn't melt in order to run it. But the engine, the engine that has been coded and written for it can support it theoretically.
This reminds me of that meme that's just like, PCs are better than consoles. And it's like, yeah, but is your PC better than a console? And it's like sad emoji. Like, no. Like, okay, yeah. Like, oh, yeah. PCs will always be the most powerful thing. Is this feasible? Is this like, this is not realistic?
Well, yeah, I love the concept. Yeah, people chime in, even in the community group. And if you're a PC gamer in the community group listening to this, go ahead and let us know. Let us know how much you spent on your rig, because it's always like, we're not comparing apples to apples when people are like, oh, PC's so much better. Just use, even if you like consoles, just get a good gaming computer. You could still use your PlayStation controller, Xbox controller if you just like having a controller. And it's like, okay, I'm waiting for when you tell me how much this costs, and it's generally in like, oh, but it'll be $2,500. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
NVIDIA just released their next gen video processors and stuff, and I want to say the best one that they just put out is like 2200.
Yeah, for like, just the
graphics, video card, just for the man.
GPU, and it's like, that's where it's like, guys, we're not talking about apples to apples here. Like, yes, I agree that PCs, they are better, but I'm not picking it up with 4 controllers or whatever else, so I could play at home. And as when you talk about like consumer needs, like people aren't spending $25,000.
It's like, look at my nice new car. I just got a Ford fucking Focus or some shit. Like, yeah, it's brand new. Like, look at that. Like, oh, it's not the best car. Best car is a Ferrari. Yeah, you have a Ferrari, motherfucker? No. So shut the fuck up. You're playing on a fucking Ford Focus 2, dipshit.
Yeah, so it's definitely it's a failed argument. It failed argument on me too.
Yeah, but I have a Ford Focus with a muffler system on it. Like, cool. You put a little bit better of a fucking video card in it. Good job. Like, no, yeah. It's cool in the sense that it's to know what's possible, but yeah, to me this is a whole bunch of nonsense. Like,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, does it mean that eventually, like, gaming computers are going to be able to play?
This will never be standard. Never.
No. But
even if you don't have to liquid nitrogen cool it and blah, 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 1000 FPS will never be a selling point for me to buy shit. No. I promise you right now, never.
But the only thing I took out of it is that, okay, like playing these games at like the 400 FPS level is probably in the realm of possibility, because yes, they didn't need the liquid nitrogen and stuff for that. They just had overclocked processors. Well, eventually we will have processors that are as fast as today's overclocked nonsense, right? So yeah, to say that probably somewhere in the horizon here, in the near horizon, we're going to be able to play games on good top-end gaming computers at that 400 FPS level, which is still mind-blowing. Like, that's still like...
120 FPS sometimes gives me like a weird headache, because like it's so smooth and like you feel like you're looking into like this crazy reality mirror. Like, once you hit a certain FPS, you're gaming in the future or some shit. Like, like Mario's jumping before I hit the A button.
So I guess we'll see. But that's the only thing I really took from it. But all right, let's get, I guess that is tech, transition to somewhat to tech. But our first major tech story, and that's gonna, I'm sure, stimulate a little discussion or debate from us here. And that's we finally get a ruling that massive phone data collection is illegal. And this big collection of phone data, metadata, has been ruled illegal by a court of appeal.
It only took a decade for the government to rule on something that we all knew in our hearts was fucking true.
Yeah, little more than a decade, right? We're talking about Patriot Act. It's finally got its like first ruling against it, being like, oh no, that's wrong, guys. That's illegal. That's not something that we should be doing.
You mean we can't just turn on people's laptop cameras and spy on regular American citizens? Like, I don't think there's anything in the fucking Bill of Rights that stops you from doing that. Like,
so Edward Snowden right now is somewhere in Russia, just saying like, I've been telling you guys this the whole fucking time. while he's he's living out his days.
He's in a Russian hotel room, mad that a motherfucker like, so fuck me, huh? Huh? Right? Yeah, fuck me. Like,
the Twitter world or whatever else, when this article came out, when this ruling came out, was also very much like, oh, Trump needs to pardon, Snowden now. I was like, no, that's not going to happen, guys. Like,
it's probably not going to happen, but it does need to happen. I'm sorry. Like, dude needs to be allowed to come home.
No, I agree. I would not come home if I was him, though. I don't know. Like,
it's one of those weird things. Like, it all depends on who he bumps into on the street. Some people are going to, maybe throw a chocolate shake at him. Other people pat him on the back. Like, I see Edward Snowden, I'm shaking his hand.
Oh yeah, I mean, for sure. In the end, he absolutely did a good thing in a legal way, right? So we'll see. In the end, like, just this ruling doesn't make what he did legal. So it's not like all of a sudden his charges are going to go away. It's like, hey, the stuff that he the classified documents and everything else that he leaked, those are good now.
But it does set a certain precedent to exonerate him.
Yeah, it does show that, like, oh, okay, like, no, the government was doing illegal stuff, like, now been ruled illegal, that we would not have known about if somebody like him didn't make it public and tell us.
And who watches The Watchmen? Like, that's, to me, like, that's exactly where this falls. In a world with powerful governments, who polices the government? Well, average citizens. And when you find the government guilty, the average citizen who had to break the law to prove the government's conviction should not be prosecuted for it.
Yeah, I just find it's absolutely ridiculous how long this took to even get to this point. Like, what new information has come out that the judge that the judges are finally like, oh, okay, guys, now I've got enough. I haven't had enough to make a ruling.
Well, I guarantee there was some prosecutor, some defense lawyer, defending the United States government in a courtroom somewhere going, but Facebook, but Google, but TikTok does it. Like, what the fuck? You people are just dropping data everywhere and letting anybody pick it up. But if we steal your nudes, we're the bad guy. Like, yes, you are.
Yeah. I mean, this has been something that's obviously been in talk for a while, even though, there's been people in Congress talking about that this was never a point and never a purpose of the Patriot Act, this mass collection of data on U.S. citizens. But nobody's really taken steps to remove this Section 215 of the Patriot Act to get rid of it. And in fact, it's gone the opposite way, right? We've seen Mitch McConnell propose a bill that extends the Section 215.
Yeah.
So we haven't addressed this. So it needed to get ruled on eventually by the courts. And man, I guess 2020 is just that year. I guess it's just whatever. Why not?
Fuck it. Oh, man.
And then we can move into Tesla. We've got some news surrounding Elon's company here. And the first one is that there was apparently a pretty big hack done back in 2017 regarding Tesla that is now, like, Elon has confirmed. And it was like a fleet-wide hack that somebody was able to essentially find a flaw. Essentially, it's a guy who is like a known Tesla blogger. And he did it as essentially like what you would claim as like a white hat hacker. He did it for the fact that he loves the Tesla company. He runs a blog and YouTube channels and everything else for Tesla about his love for Tesla and making modifications to Teslas and stuff like that. And he found a way essentially to exploit that would give him control over certain functions. At the time in 2017 when he did it gave him control over like the autonomous like parking function that allows it to just go forward and backwards. Like if you were parked in a tight spot, then you can make it back up to you to get into it. And he found a way to get in control of that. So for the entire fleet of Tesla cars, he could have just made them just bump into the car in front of it or whatever else. But again, he didn't do anything nefarious with this. He told Tesla about it, got it. He got a $5,000 reward from Tesla for identifying it to him as part of like their bug reporting bounties that they give people.
That seems a little cheap.
It does seem a little cheap. But in the end, it just shows that, these cars that are, in real time connected to updates and connected to downloads from Tesla and everything else, like, oh, well, there might be more exploits out there that could cause the entire fleet of Teslas to come victim to certain attack.
Yeah, and we have another like story regarding this too. That so that was an exploit that somebody found. We had the Russians trying to input exploits. So you either find one that was a code error and you exploit that, or you implant one yourself. And another story that Elon confirmed was that, yeah, the Russians were trying to put in malware into the Tesla network.
Yeah, and they were attempting to do it through this was more of a personal issue than a tech issue.
This was espionage, right? This would be considered espionage.
Yeah, in the sense that they were trying to recruit Tesla employees to put in certain code or whatever else that would provide them access. Yeah, so this was not a matter
some
of
Mr. Robot shit.
This really is. I mean, this is the Russians, man.
I know, like,
I love that
at some point, there's going to be a big war that's going to happen because you can't let the neighbor kid come and kick you in the shin every goddamn day before you just bop him in the fucking head and tell him to quit. And like that's what it feels like China and Russia are constantly doing to us. They're just running next door, kicking you in the fucking shin, and it's like, okay, yeah, that hurt, but it's not worth beating this kid up for. It's not worth ruining my day and everything because he came and kicked me in the shin. 150th time in a row that this fucking little shit comes and kicks you in the shin. At some point, you're going to bust that little fucker's head and send him back packing to his fucking house. And I'm just waiting for that one kick to the shin that finally, America, and this isn't exclusive to our country. They do this to multiple nations. Somebody's going to get that kick to the shin and say, all right, you little fucking shit, today's the day. And they're going to fucking get his ass, boy.
I don't know. This is, these kicks to the shins are ones that you just kind of take. In the end, the Tesla employee was offered like $1 million to put this in there, but it also came with like the caveat. I was like, okay, but you have to help us design this malware. Oh, like this was a setup. Like this dude looks like you think that he
the patsy.
Yeah. You think that this guy didn't that he turned it down because of loyalty to Tesla and to United States economic interests, that he didn't want to support the Russians. Like,
this was loyalty to self-interest.
Like, oh, only $1 million? Oh, and you want my thumbprint on my digital thumbprint on this code? And I know what's happening here, guys. Like, no, I'm gonna give it to Elon for my $5,000 reward, my bounty.
Buddy, what? It's fine. It's fine. You take USB, you put in the computer. It's fine. It's fine. Nobody knows. It's you. Just do it, okay? Yeah, not today, motherfuckers. Not today. Moose and squirrel.
All right, and then we can move over. I guess the round off the last bit of tech topics here.
Reactor first. The last. I guess because
all right.
We got to end on the high note, like we try to.
So we've got just a minor update in the sense that there's a company called NuScale who has developed and been approved for a new small scale nuclear reactor, and it just has the potential to be significantly impactful towards the development of nuclear technology. It's been a long time, really, since we can move forward in reactor design or any kind of certification or approval. So the fact that this has been approved, and it's a smaller modular based system that has the potential you can scale it up or team it up for larger use or expanded use. But this has some potential to maybe reinvigorate the conversations around nuclear design and nuclear power in whatever country. This country, other ones, who cares?
Yeah, I don't understand the world's fears around nuclear technology. Like, I mean, I do understand that you should have some fear, but the fact that we still look at it like Chernobyl days and even like Fukushima was a tragedy, but it was still old tech. It was still very old tech. We have great new technology coming into the nuclear space. We can do these things safe. We can do them effective. We can move away from fossil fuels and coal and things like that if we just do these things smartly. And I don't understand the pushback. So like as an electrician, I go into people's houses all the time, and some people still have like the most archaic electrical systems in their house. I'm talking like knot and tube wiring. For those that don't know what knot and tube wiring is
called a fire hazard.
Yeah, yeah. Like literally, they took ceramic fucking nails, nailed them up to a 2x4, and wrapped wires around them that aren't wrapped in plastic. That aren't wrapped. It's wrapped in cloth. Okay, flammable fucking cloth. And there are still houses in this fucking city being powered by knot and tube wiring. And you motherfuckers sleep in those bitches every night. But we're supposed to be worried about like current new nuclear technology. Like I just don't understand that mindset. Like we're not going to do it old. We're gonna improve it. Safety measures. The amount of nuclear waste that comes from these new these fission reactors and stuff like that are it's minuscule compared to what the old ones were. You know, and like this new one that is in this article doesn't even have any moving parts. Like it literally has no moving parts. You know, so way less breakdown, way less. Like we need to reevaluate our fears on these things. You know, and get to a point to where we can start figuring out how to decommission some of the old plants so that we can do away with the hazardous ones and start building some of these new ones, especially in the Great Plains states where we don't have huge earthquakes. We don't have to worry about huge fucking, you know, hurricanes and tsunamis. You know, just a couple tornadoes, put them underground. It'll be fine. Like, I just don't get it.
Yeah, no, I've always wanted to see us reinvigorate kind of nuclear energy, developing it, not just for us, but for, you know, as there's still parts in this world that have not hit their significant industrial revolutions yet, that have not yet brought power to everybody at a scalable level. I'd rather those people develop their nations with cleaner energy than coal burning plants or whatever else. Like we should not have to, you know, kickstart the industrial revolution in other parts of this world using our industrial revolution technology, going back, you know, like old technology. Like that shouldn't be a thing.
Yeah.
Like we should be able to bring everybody to a more modern point using modern technology.
Yeah, it still blows my mind. We have all this new technology to create and store energy, and as on a global scale, even not even just our country, but on a global scale, we're just like, nah. Like I still got this like old ass fucking engine. Like it's just it's staggering how much humans fight change.
Yeah,
it's
and
staggering.
We need more nuclear waste so we can run those batteries that we talked about last week that can exist for 28,000 years.
Power car for 90 years, man. we need to create it. It's recycle, reuse.
All right, now let's do the final story.
All right, because 2020 is lit.
And the final story is around. You might have seen it. You probably saw it because it was a headline. It was, you know, every corny
it's one
local
of those stories
news
you
anchor
pound
was
that
just,
share button. Yeah, you pound that share
well,
button.
if you watch local news, everyone had some you know, corny news anchor giving their puns or jokes about the jetpack guy. As in Los Angeles, there was a pilot who stated that there was somebody flying a jetpack near their plane while they were in just in general flight around the airport waiting to land, saying that, yeah, American 1997 just passed a guy in a jetpack. And I love, like, if you could play the recording, and the tower individual was fairly like unimpressed, was just like, okay, thank you. And then asked them, like, was it on your left or right hand side? Why does it matter? Why is that what you want to know?
Did you hear me? It's fucking flying humans, man.
But said that it was flying. The jetpack guy was on the left hand side, only about 300 yards from the plane, and at their altitude.
What was the elevation?
3,000 feet.
Like, I love it. I do. Well,
then there was some great memes and stuff doing some analysis into the MCU, saying like,
oh yeah, for sure.
All right, like let's go ahead.
Straight out Iron Man 1.
Yeah, let's go ahead and assume that this was Iron Man. So if we're living through that reality right now, let's say this is Iron Man. That means we're about 8 years away from Thanos. That means
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Like I'll take it. Anybody's got the balls to fly 300 yards from a plane, 3,000 feet up in the air. Man, I ain't
And
mad at you.
it wasn't just one plane.
bro.
There were 2 planes that confirmed it. So it wasn't just trippy.
Oh yeah, this
experience for a
dude.
pilot.
All this dude wanted to do was freak out like a handful of people looking out. You got the window seat in any one of those planes.
So this is why I don't think it actually exists. Because if it exists, somebody would have had their phone out recording it from the seat of the plane. The fact that I don't have a video about this, I don't believe it.
I don't know. You'd be surprised. People are fucking just glued to their phones, and wasn't looking out the window. How often do you look out the window on a flight? Like you look out a couple times, but
yeah.
Once you see a cloud, you're like, oh yeah, I'm high in the air, and then you shut it.
I guess it really depends on the pilot too. Because if I'm the pilot of that plane, I'm coming over the intercom. I'm telling everybody. I'm like, and just we're about 20 minutes away from landing, everybody, and the weather over in LA is 75 degrees and sunny. And if you look off to your left, you'll see about 300 meters away a dude on a jetpack. Like, I'm definitely letting everybody know. There's no way.
And to your left, we have Iron Man. Dudes, they ever find this dude, he's in big trouble. Like, and rightly so. We can't just have every asshole with rockets on his ass flying that close to planes. Like, bad stuff can happen. Birds take these things out. I can only imagine, some random hillbilly getting sucked into a turbine is going to do. Like, fuck.
Nope. What this is the next stage of Elon Musk.
I was just going to say,
turning into
I was going to say, it's Elon's superhero alter ego.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's a week. That's a week in news. A little bit of a short week for us.
It's Labor Day weekend for us, so we're gonna get our weekends underway. By the time this airs, Labor Day weekend will be over, so we hope you enjoyed yours. Spent some good time with the family. Maybe fired up the barbecue. Went and saw Tenet.
Yeah. And if you did, go ahead and make sure you join us over at thenerdcantina.com/community. Let us know what you think. Let us know.
Drop a comment on the review. There's a forum. Go ahead and start a topic.
And otherwise, thanks again for listening. It's always the big ask to please share an episode or like us, give us a rating, review. All of that just continues to help us as, we're 103 episodes deep. We're going to keep going here on the Nerd Cantina show. We might as well grow the community.
Yep. Just thanks, guys. It's been over 100 now. We're keep plugging along. So we rearrange our schedules to make sure we can get these shows in and get to our families. And, we do it because we appreciate all our listeners and everything you guys do in the group. So thanks a lot, guys. And we'll see you next time.
All right. Talk to you next week, nerds.